Here with young Denzel, the Battersea Bang Bang. He's actually been quite cheerful this morning, even though he's sitting there looking like he's got a cob on. You know, oh, yeah, he's smiling now. He's smiling now. A couple of major developments to talk about. First of all, the first one might come as a shock to a lot of people, but you brought another Denzel into the world.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. Little boy, growing well, so yeah, I'm happy.
How long ago did the happy event occur?
He's 7 weeks now.
7 weeks.
Yeah, he's 7 weeks now.
Now,
wait, no, I'm lying. He's 8 weeks tomorrow. Yeah, 8 weeks tomorrow. Yeah, damn, time's flying. Yeah, so 8 weeks pretty much.
And this has been responsible for taking the boy out of Battersea to a certain extent.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't think it would go that way, but it was going to come at some point, innit? So yeah.
So how's your? Was it Hammersmith?
Pardon?
What's the town you're living in?
Aylesbury.
Aylesbury, that was it. So how did your week work in terms of being up in Aylesbury and being here, and how are you working it?
Well, for the first 9 to 10 days, he was still in hospital. He was premature. So I was actually in and out of hospital, but it was at St. Thomas's, closer to me. So I'd leave the gym, go to hospital, come back, go to hospital. So, and then after that, when he came home, he stayed for a couple of days, and then I asked them to go up there, and I'll stay down here.
So is it because you've got the support structure up there?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So she's got her parents there and all that stuff, so closer to home for her. So I asked her to go up there, and I'll just stay down in London and try and crack on with the rest of camp. What's left of it, about 3 weeks left at that point, so yeah.
Is the future of Denzel in Aylesbury?
Nah, no chance. No chance, but for now.
So you just having to bob up and down weekends, or you staying down?
Yeah.
Are you with your mum during the week and then?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to try and make excuses for you, and you're not going to try and make excuses for you, but all this was playing out during your training camp, as you alluded to there.
Yeah.
Like you say, the build up to the fight with the late pregnancy, the birth, there was a lot going on, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a lot, because he wasn't due till the end of November. So we kind of like planned for what was going to happen. I mean, I was going to have that fight, take the rest of the year off and make sure she was all right, and you know, she has the baby, and then celebrate Christmas or however it went. And he decided to pop up about 5.5 weeks early, so it took a different kind of turn, and just kind of had to think on the spot, so to say. It's like, okay, so what are we going to do now? Couldn't leave her on her own. It's not fair. Do you know what I mean? It's probably more of a shock to her, and it's going to affect her more than it's going to affect me. So got to kind of be there and help her. So obviously she had an emergency cesarean, so she can't even. She's bedbound for a little bit, so I've had to make sure I'm always there, help out, feed him, change him. And then in the night when I'm going home, she can try and do her little bit here and there, but I wanted her to get as much rest as possible, because, you know, it's just not fair to just, if she had a normal birth, then it'll be more easy for me to be like, okay, look, let me focus, but she didn't, so I had to kind of sacrifice a little bit myself.
I mean, normally you'd prepare for a fight with as far as possible, a fairly clear mind, but your mind must have been very cluttered at this point. Yeah,
it's crazy, because I've fought with a lot of things in my mind, and I'm able to just push it all back. Like, you know, I've had like deaths in my family on fight week twice, like my granddad and my uncle, 2 different occasions, and it's like, puts it back in the mind. I mean, I've had friends that's passed away, and I'm like, all right, cool, I know it's not fair, but putting it back in your mind and kind of representing them during fight week or on fight night, which is what I usually do, but this one is just different. This is something I've never experienced before. I've never been a father before, so it was a bit different. And then when I sent them up there, I was just missing him. I mean, which is, I guess it's normal, innit? I'm like, how's my boy getting on? So when I got to like fight week weighing day, I was like, yes, we're done. I'm gonna do this and go home to my boy. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like, it's fight time. So it's a different mindset. It felt weird. I didn't feel like I was getting ready for a fight. I felt like I was just training. Physically, I was doing everything.
Well, all of a sudden, your priorities had turned on their head, haven't they? Because, okay, you're winning a fight. It's always going to be a priority, but all of a sudden, you've got this little person which has come into the world 5 weeks early.
Yeah.
You know, it just complicates it a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was mad, and I didn't want to say anything, and that's big news, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want anyone to use it as an advantage, like, he's probably not there. So I'm like, I'd say it after the fight, like, after the fight, I'd be out there, like, look, man, my last 4 weeks of camp, I had a little boy, it's been hard, I've been trying to focus, but then I lost, and that's like, now it's more of an excuse, so
you could have told that lovely story, didn't you?
Yeah, and it's like, well, I lost, so now if I say that, it's an excuse. And I thought, you know what, enjoy your win.
You said nothing really, have you, since? Sort of?
No, I mean, it's not really. Yeah, I mean, if I was watching a fight and someone lost and came out and just started making excuses, I'd be like, oh, then you shouldn't have got in there. So I got to kind of keep the same energy for myself.
I mean, you talked about coping with deaths in the family in previous fights, but you know, there was also a tragic backdrop to this fight, wasn't there? With a close friend of yours. Yeah. Lost his life in an incident. I mean, that's another thing. Is with everything else that's going on, it's hard to deal with, isn't it? I mean, because
no, it is, and I kind of kept questioning myself because I'd be places. Obviously, I couldn't miss the funeral. The funeral was like literally the week before fight week, and I thought to myself, I can't miss that. Obviously, I had to be in the gym. As soon as I finished training, I kind of rushed down there, and it's just like I just think about it, like it's just everything else outside was going on so much. It was taking off my focus off the gym, which is pretty unusual. So it was like I had to be there. And I had people saying like, "Bro, you're not taking this fight serious." I'm like, "No, I am. I'm training, but I'm guessing they can see mentally I'm just not there." And I remember phoning Ellis. I'm like, "Yo, how do I look in the gym?" He's like, "No, you look alright." I'm saying, "No, everyone keeps telling me I'm not focused. Like, do I look not focused to you?" And he's like, "Well, in sparring, when it gets easy, you just kind of take your foot off the pedal and cruise the rest of the rounds. Maybe that's the only thing, but you're comfortable, so that's just you, innit?" And I thought,
did you have doubts in yourself in those hours in the dressing room leading up to the fight? Did you sort of think, is this one, have I done everything right? You know, have I done enough? Did you have that little bit of...
You know what, I think this is the only sense I could say I kind of overlooked him, in the sense of it was like, I kept thinking, okay, mentally I've been all over the place. There's days I'm sparring and I'm just thinking about everything else and I'm like, nah, fuck that, get your head in the game. But then I thought, he's not good enough to beat me on my worst day, but I know he's going to turn up. So my bad day has to be as good as a bad day gets. You know what I mean? It's just got to be like, I got to do everything I can. But he just, and I said it, he's going to be the best version of himself, because it was like me going out to fight Janabek. I was going to be the best version of myself, you know what I mean? But it's just a shame that I couldn't get the best out of myself at that time. And I didn't want to make excuses because I wanted him to enjoy his win. It's only fair. But I just felt like it's how I look. How am I going to perform? Am I going to struggle against that guy? Because if I struggle against him and get a win, it's not going to look good. So that was the only doubt I had.
Was Martin, obviously we're talking about Nathan Heaney, we haven't mentioned his name yet. Was Martin concerned at all in the dressing room beforehand? You know, the fact that he knew everything that had gone on in the lead up. Was he sort of trying to jump into you? Come on, you've got to be right.
Not necessarily right. in a change room, but in the gym. In the gym, I'll be hitting pads and he can see I'm just, and he'd be like, "All right, this is a big fight, Denzel. I know there's a lot going on, but get your head right. Come on, like, this is the step to the next one." And I'm like, yeah, I'm all right, Mark. Because I know Martin says things to get things out of you, and depending on your reaction is how he reacts. But I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just trying to just push it to the back of my mind as much as possible. But I kind of struggled to do that, and it was like, I mean,
you made weight all right, didn't you? I mean, that obviously.
Pardon?
You obviously made weight all right. So.
I just made weight. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was behind on my weight because where I was in the hospital for like 9-10 days, I can't get the nutrition that I need. Yeah. So I'm calling or messaging my nutritionist, and she's trying to help me with things that are local or around if I can't bring food up. Because there's certain days I'm going straight into the gym. I might leave my food at home. I'm like, oh fuck, I ain't got time to go home and get my food. So she's like, all right, what restaurants are near you? Go here. So everything was just a shambles. I couldn't get the correct nutrition. So I just made weight. I was 160 bang on. I've never weighed that before. I'm always under. I'm like 159 point something like that. I was 160 bang on. I made the weight that morning. I usually make the weight like the day before when I come in the gym and I say, "Man, I ain't got to train, I'm on weight." And he's like, "Nah, shake out a bit." You know what I mean? So it was just very different. And then obviously going out to Manchester as well, I brought food with me. And then I think, oh, you can't warm up your food here, blah, blah, blah. And then for the first day or two, I was like, fucking hell, what am I going to eat? And then Martin's like, well, you got food, get a microwave. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? And then it was all right. But all of these things is
obviously you walked second. How much of the sort of Delilah stuff and his ring entrance
I loved it.
Could you hear?
Everything. I was waiting. I was standing right right next to him when he was walking out. And I was like, fucking hell, what's going off in here? And then I walked out and I came up to my side.
You sort of walked out like the clappers. It was almost like, I've heard enough of this. It was like the quickest ring walk on.
The crowd were going for it, and the security were on either end, and they're bumping. So the crowd are bumping the security that's bumping into me. So I'm just like wobbling over the place. They're throwing drinks at me. And I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for a night like
you
this.
You had a proper face on when you got into the ring. It was like, I
I was like trying to pump myself. I'm like, like I've been waiting for a ring walk like this. Like I'm trying to pump myself. I'm like let's go then, let's go. And the first round came, and it was like I just fell into a rhythm after the first round. I just fell into a bad rhythm. It was like I was fighting at one pace. I didn't switch the pace. I didn't try to do anything different throughout the whole fight. And if you see my fights, that's really not like me. I'm never one way for the whole fight. But I'm just not there. I'm just doing everything. He's throwing these shots and nothing really hurt. Like, so maybe that's another thing as well. I was catching a lot on the gloves, I felt, and the ones that did land, I thought there's nothing in them. Let me just keep walking through them. So I just fell into a pace, and then Martin kept telling me in the corner, look, these pity-patty shots are gonna lose you the fight. So step out of it. And I thought, no, Martin, I'm blocking it. He goes, listen, the crowd's there, the judges ain't seeing that. Just use your feet. And I didn't use my feet, and it was just like, I just thought, I want to catch him.
Because that was kind of your rationale in your post-fight interview. You were kind of disputing the scores by saying, nothing hurt, nothing touched me, it was all on the gloves.
Yeah.
When I spoke to you, however long ago, you sort of said, but when I actually saw the reaction, I sort of thought I had to accept it, Sort of.
Yeah, so I was like, well, how did you get these scores? You feel me? So after I heard the 140, I thought, oh, then I heard 170, 111. I was like, he didn't beat me that wide, so that's got to be me, right? So I didn't even notice I was losing him there. Do you know what I mean? Martin's telling me, and I'm like, no, I'm comfortable. Like, I'm just landing my shots. I'm hurting him. His face is bust up. And I thought, no, I can't be losing this, right? And then in the ninth round, I stepped off and I started using my feet. And I think I boxed him in that round. And then in the round after, Martin's like, good, keep it like that. And then I thought, nah, I'm giving him room. Like, he's hurt, he's tired, I'm giving him a breather, let me step back on him. And I should have just kept that distance, and I might have caught him coming in, do you know what I mean? But I just thought, no. And then after that, I went home, and then I was just on the internet, and I saw the reaction, and everyone was saying the same thing, and I thought, oh, well, I've got no leg to stand on in it. There's no point in me trying to complain about, I thought this and that happened, when it weren't just the judges, everyone else that watched the fight thought I lost it, or I threw it away and all that stuff. So I might as well just shut my mouth and carry on.
I mean, he fought a fantastic fight, didn't he? So
he did, and I said that though. I said that would be the best version. So I'm not really shocked about his performance, to be honest. I'm just disappointed that I wasn't able to. He was capitalize on.
A man obsessed, wasn't he? So,
yeah. But he was.
Very hard to, when a man's got that inside him and his mission is just sort of.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the best of him and the worst of me. You know what I mean,
you thought you were going to knock him out, didn't you?
I thought I was going to hurt him. I didn't think I was going to knock him out like clean. I thought I was going to stop him. I thought I was going to put enough pressure on him for him to just be like, oh, I can't move no more. But it was like, I just fought at one pace the whole time. I didn't. So someone's fighting at one pace and you clock their pace. You know how to handle that pace. I should have just kept switching up the pace so we didn't know what was coming. But everything's coming at the same pace. If he didn't realise that, then clearly he wasn't good enough, do you know what I mean?
His feet were very good, weren't they?
His feet were very good. I haven't
really seen Matt. I mean, you must have watched fights with him. I haven't really noticed that before.
No, he usually kind of comes forward. I mean, he doesn't really go backwards. Even in that ninth round when I stepped off, he started coming to me. And I thought, well, I'm going to catch him. I think he came to me and I hit him with the right hand. And then he held on to me. And as he's holding on, he's gone down. And obviously, like, I've kind of pushed him down.
Yeah.
And then he got up and I thought, I've got him here. And I could hear his corner. Don't fall for it. Get back. Don't go forward. And he's come forward and they've gone, step back. And I'm thinking, they're really not going to engage. Like, if I step back, we're just going to be having a face-off. Let me press it. So then I just started pressing it again. I thought, he's tired anyway. I'm going to get him. But
I think maybe you could have hit Nathan with an iron bar that night and he wouldn't have gone. I think it might just be one of those sort of.
Yeah, one of those nights from me.
When you came into the fight off of a 20-second job against Kieran Smith.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can sort of either lull you or lull other people into thinking, well, but then people thought you were going to win, and then they must have thought, well, if you look at the last one, is it going to be another one of them?
But it's two different fights and two different styles, so that's why I don't really ever look into that stuff like, oh, look what I've done to him, he's probably better. No, like Kieran Smith, he might be a little bit taller, but he's a southpaw. I'm preparing for a different style. I've got to set things up differently. And obviously I'm thinking about my work, you know what I'm saying? With Nathan, it's a different style. He's an orthodox, he's awkward, his guard is in your face. And obviously he boxed really negative that night, but it played to his advantage. But it was like, it's a different fight. So I wasn't taking the fact of what I done to Kieran Smith that I'm going to do that to Nathan Heaney, if that makes sense.
Interesting, though, you mentioned the word negative. It was a good fight to watch. You know, normally if someone's, like you say, is negative in a fight, it normally transcends.
But then it was a good fight to watch because I was pressing.
Yeah.
If I stood off and went to boxing, you lot would have been bored as hell. And I'm not saying, that should be the reason, whatever, but I'm just saying it was a good fight to watch because I was pressing. And I told you, when I stepped off that round, he was calling out, screaming at him, you step off too, and we're just having a face off looking at each other, and it's like, nah, this is boring. And he's tired, let me get him. But like I said, I just fought the whole fight at one pace. I didn't change anything. I didn't try to do anything different. Do you know what I mean? Until Martin said that, in the 9th round, step off him and see where he goes. That's the only time I've done something different. And then I thought, nah, he's tired, let me get on him. I got 2 rounds, or from the 10th, I thought, a couple rounds left, let me step on him and try and get him late.
I know you're pissed off, but you've done it before.
That's why I'm pissed off.
I know you
fucking
didn't
done it
want
before.
to do it again, but you know what's required, don't you?
Yeah, and a lot's required. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot. I mean, I'd rather put in that effort into moving forward rather than getting back to where I need to be. I'd rather put in that effort to moving forward. That's why it's annoying. I've got to put in more effort to get back to where I just was in order to move forward again. It's a lot, man.
It's not a rebuild, though, is it? It's like you're one good win away from it all.
Yeah, but can I get a good win? Not a good win. Can I get a good fight? Is the question.
Well,
I think that's the only thing.
That stock and that name and reputation for being in good fights, a good fighter in good fights. But whenever you're fighting against a good level opponent, people will be like, yeah, we have some of that.
That's true.
I don't think people would look at Denzel Bentley and go, he's lost 3 times, he's shit. I just don't think it's that.
Yeah.
You know, like the way we look at foreign boxers on BoxRec, and if they got them in 3 defeats, you go, oh god, another one.
That's true. Yeah,
I don't think people look at you in that way, do they?
No, they don't. That's a good point. I think I'm fortunate enough to have been seen, enough times for people to know what I'm about and what I can produce. So I'm fortunate enough in that sense. So you're right. People won't look at that and think, he's had 3 losses, he's shit.
You're in a, if you were 3 defeats, there's 3 in there, and if you fought another fighter similar to you who's had 3 or 4 defeats, people say, God, what a fight. It's because people are just not interested in that 0 thing. Yeah. They just look at it and say, they know you, they know him. Like, for instance, I mentioned this to Martin, if you were to fight someone like Sam Egginson, he's got defeats on his record, you have, but people will go, what a fight. Yeah,
100%, you're right. I mean, like you said, someone like Sam Egginson, that would be that.
Liam Smith. Liam Smith's had losses.
Exactly.
But again, people would go, what
a fight. Liam Smith, Eubanks had losses, and I think that would be a good fight as well. But then, it's where are they in their careers? Do they want to take that risk? You know what I mean, sometimes I just question: are we fighting men or businessmen?
Eubank could be looking to fight you, but the other two.
The other 2 might. I think Liam Smith right now hasn't got nowhere to go. He's a free agent promotionally.
You're both in the same.
Both come off losses,
you both need that. Like I say, you're 1 fight away from being back in it, so is he.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to take that fight. So I'd fight him and then Eubank next, and then I'm right back on top, innit? So that would be 2 good fights back to back, and I'm still not shying away from these fights.
You're not a million miles away, so there's no point you sort of saying, how am I going to get those?
It's true, but it's wishful thinking.
You've got that stock.
But they've also got to want to take it.
Which you've earned over the years. Well, a lot of it's down to money, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is. It's down to money. It's down to money.
But, they'll look at victory over a 2-time British champion.
Yeah, I guess so.
Thing, so.
Yeah, no, there's still a lot of good fights that I would like. They would have been more possible, realistic if I'd had won. But now it's just like, okay, so what's next? And obviously, I trust Martin and Frank to, get something good for me. But
I mean, I've obviously got no idea what will happen. But so what if you went into the Hamza fight next?
I would love to, though. That's not a fight. That's not a fight.
That's lost. That fight hasn't lost anything because of this.
Yeah, but it's more of, is he going to use that as an excuse to be like, there's no need in fighting him? That's what I'm saying. So on my side, it's still the same thing, still the same energy. I'd fight all of you. But now it's on their side. Do they think?
We can look at it 2 ways. It's either a way to avoid it or a way, but they might think, well, the blueprint's just been laid out for us.
That's true. That is true. Well, I hope they think the second bit.
Anyway. So you've not been in to see Frank yet, sort of find out the plans?
No, I haven't.
You see him out in Saudi, can't you?
Yeah, probably see him out in Saudi.
You going out for Ellis?
Yeah, definitely, man.
It's quite similar to this time last year with you going to Las Vegas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Janibet,
Yeah.
People saying he ain't got a fucking prayer. And now Ellis is jumping in with the
But
ring
I'm saying
champion.
I was thriving in that fight. Like even on the way there, I was like, oh, we're getting Vegas. But in like this time around, I was just like, I got to fight and I'll get back to my new family in it. But wrong mindset. But I couldn't help it. It was just I was trying so hard to just push it, and that's why I ain't said nothing cool now, because it's like I'm still trying to be like.
You boys are human at the end of the day.
We are. That is true, and I mean,
You know, sometimes human nature just wins.
yeah, and that's
It's actually undefeated, probably.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Anyway, if it all goes wrong in boxing, you've obviously got this commentary career now. I mean, every time
I don't know, I ain't been called up for a while.
The stream on now, you seem to be there.
Yeah,
1,000,000%.
yeah. I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'm quite good at it and I enjoy it, but you know, they also want names to be on their screen to draw people, and I got to kind of build back up and you know get my job back.
Nice one, Denzel.
Thanks.